Welcome, welcome everybody. Good evening. Wow, what a night. If you're unfamiliar, I am in the Texas area, and we had some big thunderstorms rolling by here. I didn't know we were going to be able to do this stream or not, but luckily we got our power back, and yeah, Wigman was saying 65-mile-an-hour straight line winds. It has been nasty. You guys wanted a night flight? Well, here we are. We're starting off. We're in Charlotte. Kilo Charlie Lima Tango. We're going to fly up to LaGuardia, New York's International Airport tonight. Should be a good one. It's going to get dark here. I didn't want to do the entire flight at night, just because I thought that, might not be too enjoyable. But so we're going to start here in the late evening hours and dusk, and then we're going to hopefully get into LaGuardia well after dark, and it should be a fun one. Always landing in LaGuardia, it's always a challenge. So we're in the Flight Factor A320 MATAVIA mod. We've got the dirty wings on there. We've got our cockpit mod. We're in a retro America West livery. We're actually going to be using the old school America West call sign cactus as well. So guys, I know it's late for a lot of you, and I'm really going to try to minimize reading some comments, but I encourage you to post them, put them up. I'm going to get to them as soon as we get into cruise. I want to get this airplane off the gate, get us rolling, and we'll be out of here. So just got to the aircraft. I had it sitting on ground power. What I'm going to do is get everything else set up here. Cruise supply oxygen can come back on. Let's get the nav lights on. Then go ahead and put the seat belts into the auto position for now. Arm that. We've already done our fire test. Let's get the aircraft configured. Let's get the load up. Typically a heavy load going up into LaGuardia. I've done this flight many times. Alright, let's fill up. Let's go full, huh? What do you say? Let's take a full load. And then for fuel, we're also going to need 12.3 kilos. We'll set that. Perfect. That's a lot of gas. Auto feed fault. That happens sometimes when we do that quick defuel there, or quick refuel. 12.3 on the fuel. We have that set. We can go ahead and clear that ECAM. All right. Our route of flight tonight is... Oh! We got Pizzicar coming in, $20 donation. Keep up the great work. I have learned a lot from you. Awesome, man. I'm glad you're learning. I plan to keep up the content for you. Really appreciate that generous offer, man. Very generous donation. Thank you, Pizzicar, for that wonderful donation. All right, we are Charlotte, Kilo Charlie Lima Tango to LaGuardia. It's going to be fun. I haven't landed in LaGuardia in quite some time, so hopefully I don't make a fool of myself. LaGuardia is one of those airports where you definitely do not mess around trying to get a soft landing. You either have one shot at getting it nice and soft, or else you just got to put it down. And you don't want to be messing around going into LaGuardia. There's been a couple runway overruns. I think Delta was the most recent. Was it last year or last winter? They had partially it was mechanical with an MD-80, and ended up going off the end of the runway there. But luckily there's an EMAS, or emergency arresting system there, and it kept them from getting too damaged. Go ahead and align on ref, confirm alignment. Alright, let's get the ATIS and see what we're departing tonight out of LaGuardia. 132.1.
Charlotte Douglas INTL Information Foxtrot. 0-100 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 4,700 scattered, 25,000 scattered, temperature 31, dew point 20. Altimeter 3000. Arriving runway 23, departing runway 23. Advise on initial contact you have Foxtrot.
Yes, Pilot Edge covers the western United States, but we're just going to be using the, what do I say, the Addons and stuff like that for Pilot Edge. I don't believe I can talk to them. I have the western, was it the eastern expansion? But yeah, you're correct. It does not cover as far as ATC services going into LaGuardia. I don't think I can contact them or anything like that. You guys tell me. You're probably more experienced with Pilot Edge than I am. I'm just using it for Addons, and I used Project Fly. I wasn't planning on speaking with ATC, but if they're willing to speak with me, maybe they can do an en route or something. I am not sure. We're going to do Barmy 4 Raleigh transition. Insert that. Let's pop DND out here. A little discombobulated, apologize. Alright, it's going to be a vector, then eventually out to Raleigh. From Raleigh, we're going to intercept J55. J55 to Hopewell. Now here's something cool, guys. Normally what you do is you put in your next fix right here, but in the real aircraft you can also put in your next airway if you have 2 airway segments, and it will auto-populate this. Let's see, I haven't actually tested it in the Flight Factor. Let's see, this should pop up to be Hotel Papa Whiskey. Look at that, that's pretty cool. So if you have a route of flight that has multiple airways, you don't have to put in your fix, your changeover. You can just put in via, obviously verify, but it's kind of cool to just put in your airways. You don't have to put in the actual changeovers. And then obviously end is going to be the Tuxtont here. That's our last airway. Come back, insert that. Tuxtont LaGuardia. That's going to lead us into the arrival for, we're going to do the ILS to runway 13. The winds were at the south last time I checked. We're going to do the Corey 4, the Tuxtont transition. Insert that. Let's take a look at our flight plan. Now this is one of those scenarios where we're going to have a discon in the box, but that's intentional because actually this is a radar vector departure. So you actually take off, if you look at the chart, and then you get radar vector to Meshi, and then continue the en route phase. So we'll self-vector ourselves all the way up into LaGuardia and set up for the ILS 13. Alright, secondary flight plan. Let's go ahead and initialize that. We're going to go Kilo Charlie. I'm just going to go ahead and type this. Return. Secondary, boom, arrival, ILS to runway 18 center will be our return, and our performance data, boom, boom. All we care about is the approach and the secondary. What do we say the,
Charlotte Douglas INTL information Foxtrot. 0 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 4,700 scattered, 20.
000. Aircraft is feeling a temperature of 32 degrees. Light and variable 0/0. MDA, we're going to put 200 in the DH here for now, just for this flight. And Charlotte 18 left. Alright, I think we are set there. So let's go to initialization page B. Do our weight request. We're going to get our information from here. Let's go to perf data. We have 60.6 on the zero fuel. CG is 29.3. That looks good. We do have an alternate tonight. I forgot to put that in. Our alternate is going to be Philadelphia. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and put in some of our speeds. We're going to 141, 151, 151, flaps 1. Actually, should be about right. Okay, that is good. Initial altitude coming out of here is going to be 8,000 feet. All right, let's go ahead and plan our pushback and start closing up some doors here. We're going to come back off Charlie 11, right in the alley.
Round to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
I saw that somebody mentioned interesting things happen here in New Zealand, or I'm sorry, in the Netherlands as well. EasyJet pushed into the KLM. I saw that. That was pretty crazy. Somebody's going to have some explaining to do. Slam Cannon says it wasn't just another Ryanair landing. Pilot Edge covers the Western U.S. bill. Yes, I am aware of that. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do Pilot Edge tonight. I haven't really configured VATSIM yet, Storehead. Storehead was asking about VATSIM. I haven't. I'm definitely going to configure that for our Euro tour when we go over to Europe. Oh, I should probably start the APU. Make sure you always start the APU before you disconnect ground power, guys. Know that from experience. This will be fun. We'll talk about some night lighting configurations and runway illusions. Flying at night should be a good time. Let's go ahead and get these on. APU's fired up. We're also going to come over here and squawk 5245. We can close up all of this. Move the fuel truck. APU's fired up already. But this MATAVIA mod is awesome. I mean, look at the detail. Look at the detail on the wing there. Just the dirty textures and everything coming off. Alright, APU is available to get the bleed on. We'll get rid of that. I think we still have an imbalance in our tanks. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have closed the boarding door for the staff event. All customers must be seated with their seatbelts securely.
That's good. Let's see.
Please ensure your seat back is upright. Tray table is up and locked. All current items are
Alright.
placed underneath
And we got to disconnect from the gate here.
Similar size can also be placed underneath the seat in front of you for easy access after takeoff. Thank you.
Bill Barrett says I'm 87 from top of descent Cyprus to Frankfurt in the Tolus. Awesome, Bill. Hope you have a nice buttery land and let us know. Make sure you report back when you land. Risty, hello from Lipa. Howdy. How's it going? Danny Blizzard, you definitely need to get some charts on the screen. It'll be good to have you walk us through them. Absolutely. That is actually on the list for tomorrow. I'm going to be looking into Avitab and getting the charts for you guys. Now, actually, there is a... Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. So I can't type on here anymore. Does anybody know why? Like, I used to be able to use this and actually type in this browser page, but for some reason... Oh, wait a second. Oops, I just did something. What'd I do? Oh, I heard something. I used to be able to type in here, but now I can't type in here, so I don't know why that is. Maybe one of you guys knows. I was able to pull up the charts in there before. Let me just... I heard some noises when I pressed a button there. I want to make sure everything looks good on the outside. It still does. Okay, let's go ahead and disconnect from the ground power unit and get off the gate here. Ramp Control Cactus 1942. We'll be pushing off of gate Charlie 11. And they would say clear to push, so let's go ahead and start the pushback. We'll get the beacon light on.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Once again, we would like to welcome aboard JetBlue Airways Flight
Let's take a look at the back here. Beautiful texturing on this Matavia mod. If you guys remember America West too, they were merged with American. Actually, they bought American, and so that livery is no longer flying. There is one flying as a retro, but unfortunately, it's not really popular to see it anymore. It's a quite nice livery. I think it's a little bit different, different colors. They were headquartered in Phoenix,
all
Arizona.
doors and hatches are closed.
Kind of a
Ready to
southwestern
connect.
look.
Set parking brake.
Wants us to set the parking brake. That's what I accidentally disconnected. Brakes are set and connect. Ooh, the cockpit door is open. We need to close that. I opened that earlier. Is it locked? Yep, cockpit door is locked. Cool. So tomorrow's to-do list is X camera and Avitab. Tommy Monroe says, "What's up,
So
man?"
connected and bypass pin inserted.
Not much, man.
Release
Just hanging
parking
out,
brake.
doing a stream. Oh, we gotta release this parking brake here.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
All right, we're gonna wait, as always, till we clear the gate here to start engines. Tommy Monroe says, "What's up, man?" Not much, dude. Just hanging out, doing a little Wednesday night streaming post massive thunderstorm that rolled through here. So glad to be online. I knocked out the power for a little bit. I was running around resetting circuit breakers, and I actually used up the time that I wanted to use to try to slick into VATSIM, trying to get the house powered back up. But that's what tomorrow's for. Wingman says, "Forgetting the APU makes it dark real quick." Yes, it sure does, man. Especially when it's nighttime and the ground controller pulls it out right from under you. Man, it's so pretty looking at this Matavia mod. So this lighting is from the Matavia mod. There is, I believe there's a link in the description. If not, I'll throw one up here at the end of this video. But if you just do a Google search, Flight Factor 320 Matavia mod, this thing is beautiful. I mean, the lighting in here is going to be really awesome. So you can adjust everything. All right, let's go ahead and fire up engine number 1. Let's take a listen to these sounds. I swear we're in the real airplane right now. I've spent a lot of time in an Airbus, guys, and I tell you what, it sounds so good. I am so blown away. I say it every time.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brakes are set, clear to disconnect, show me the pin.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Wojtek CVR. Hi, great stream. Thank you, sir. Maybe silly question, but what is the meaning of the solid dot next to the speed, heading, and altitude? It's not a silly question. It's actually a very important question. Let me fire up the second engine, and we'll go ahead and talk about that. So, this is the FCU, or Flight Control Unit, and a solid dot, means that you are in managed mode. It means the aircraft is going to be managing your speed, your heading, and your altitude. If you were to pull the knob, I don't want to do it right now, I mean we can do it, but listen, so we pull it. So now I'm in selected mode. Remember, the pilot is out. You got to pull for pilot. So you pull this knob, you are now in control of the heading
Tow is
and where the
disconnected
aircraft is
and
going.
bypass pin has
Same
been
with
removed.
speed.
Hand signal will be on the left. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Great, thanks for the smooth push. We'll see you next time. But for takeoff, we want to have solid dots and we want to be managed. So what we do, if you're ever in this situation like this, go ahead and clear your flight directors and then turn them back on, and that will reset your FCU. So now we are all dashed out with an 8000 there. We want it managed. That means it's going to fly what's in the box, what we have programmed, what's managed. Alright, just had a bus go right off the edge of the airplane there. That was cool. Let's go ahead and extend flaps 1, but let's do it from a sexy view. Can I say sexy? Ooh, it's getting dark, boys. It is getting dark, boys. And girls, if there's any females watching. Gosh, it's so pretty. Okay, let's do a quick after start checklist. Boom, boom. Transponder is in auto. We go ahead and turn off the APU. We're running manual mode right here because we did a quick refuel and we got our tanks a little out of sequence. So that's why you see this white light up here. Manual mode. And let's go taxi light on. And get out of here. We can go ahead and dim this floodlight here on this, not that one. Where's the floodlight? There's a floodlight. There it is. That's what's blinding. Alright. And yeah, see what I'm looking at here? My taxi charts. We're coming off the ramp. We're going to make a left turn onto Mike and then Charlie. That is a thing of beauty right there. Oh, I see taxi lines. We gotta figure out where we're going. We're gonna come left. Taxi around the roost here a little bit. Rodrigo Sestrom says, would be interesting to see you discussing some performance charts, weights and assumed temperatures, that kind of stuff. Rodrigo, yeah, I've touched on it a little bit on my performance videos of doing the performance test for the Flight Factor and the Tolus 319. Most of our performance data comes at us from a third party via ACARS, so maybe when we get AviTab up we can look at some more stuff, but let's go ahead and exercise a flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. We're going to check the rudders. Full left. Full right. Neutral. I think Charlie is right up here. Yes, it is. Let's go ahead and go auto brakes max, takeoff config, AWS auto, that is on, TARA, and a flight attendant prepare for departure. All green. Risty, I'm doing great. How are you, mate? Well, I'm doing great too, buddy. Glad to have you here. I wasn't sure if we wanted to do if a night stream would be a good idea, but everyone seemed pretty excited about it, so let's go ahead and talk about light operations using our exterior lights. So obviously when the aircraft has power to it, we're starting engines, we don't want anybody to touch it. We've got our beacon light on, also referred to as anti-collision. That's our red rotating beacon here. We've got our nav lights, and we have our logo light, which is shining up there. And we also have a position light there in the tail. Now, that's pretty standard, pretty simple. Anytime your aircraft is moving under its own power, your taxi light needs to be on. If we were on with air traffic control and they said, hey, Cactus 1942, I need you to hold position, what we would do, we'd go ahead and come to a stop, and then we would actually turn our taxi light off. You want to make sure that when you're stopped, the taxi light is off, because you want other aircraft that are taxiing around to know that you are not moving the aircraft. So maybe he'd say, hey, hold short Charlie 11, we've got an aircraft coming. It's kind of a way of giving way, or a right of way by turning your taxi light off. When that light's on, we know that the aircraft is moving. I am Dimitri, coming in with $100 donation. Holy smokes, man. Thank you so much, buddy. That is a awesome donation. Thank you so much. Dimitri says, keep up the good work, Captain. You are providing a much-needed, great professional service to the hobby. That means a lot to me, Dimitri. Thank you so much. You guys really are the backbone of this channel and this content. So I couldn't be more happy and be more just be more blessed to be doing this for you guys. That is a very generous donation. Thank you, sir. Back to our lights. So now would be, hey, Cactus 1942, line up and wait. Runway 1, what do we got? Runway 18 left. So for lining up and wait, we're going to go ahead and turn our strobe lights on. Now you'll see sometimes, here in North America anyway, that if there's a bunch of airplanes holding in position for takeoff right here, that they'll actually hold off on turning the strobe lights on because it is a very bright and disturbing light. So sometimes we'll wait a little bit until we actually get on the runway to turn the strobe light on. The wing lights will come on right away. The runway turn-off light, and obviously your nose light will come to the takeoff position. Now what we can do here is if we're holding in position, we're going to go ahead and extend those landing lights, but we're not going to activate them. So we want to make sure if we're holding in position, we have everything on and our landing lights extended. The reason we don't want our landing lights extended is we need to have some way to differentiate from lining up and waiting to actually being cleared for takeoff. So in this position here, if I stop the aircraft, and in this situation you do not turn off your taxi light on the runway, you always want to keep your lights on the runway, this would be the configuration in a lineup and wait. So now, if I'm taxiing in my Airbus down the runway and I'm say, hey, traffic will hold in position, you're cleared to cross the runway, I can look down the runway and I can see, hey, there's an aircraft holding in position, but I just see his center lights on right here. It's just an extra verification for me, an extra feel-good, if you will, to let me know that that aircraft is holding. Now, obviously, if there's any doubt in your mind, and if you're becoming a pilot or in training right now, obviously, if there's any doubt if you should cross a runway, obviously stop your aircraft and ask air traffic control. But it's kind of one of those unwritten rules that we have as pilots. It's kind of like, okay, we've got our lights set, and then for takeoff, say Cactus 1942, runway 18 left, fly heading 180, you're cleared for takeoff. So cleared for takeoff, lights come on, and now we know that we've acknowledged the takeoff clearance and we've got a much bigger profile on the runway right here. So now we know, hey, there's something big coming down. Something's ready to start rolling. So if you were about to cross the runway, if they gave you clearance to cross, and even if it's, if they give you clearance to cross and you see a bunch of lights down there, always stop and ask. But typically, that's kind of the unwritten rule of how we run those landing lights during takeoff. Alright, so we are clear for takeoff. We're going to fly heading 180, spool them up 50%, nose forward on the stick, and straight to the flex detents. Listen to those engines, my goodness. Oh, let's find the flex detent. Where is it? There it is, man flex 55. SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. Pop these out for you. .80 knots, thrust set. Neutral by 100. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Into the command bars. Runway track. We're given a runway assigned heading of 180 at 400 feet in a 320. We can go ahead and select heading. So now we were asking about the dots. We no longer have a dot over here in the FCU. We have it's pilot controlled. I pulled it. We are in heading mode. Man flex 55. Disarm the speed brakes. I'm doing it via my key bindings, and we'll go ahead and start the clock. Lever climb. Remember, wait for that reversal and trend there on your airspeed. There it is. I'm going to bring it back nice and slow. Press climb. Auto thrust. Can't really see it. I got that block there. Alright, let's go ahead and put the autopilot on because we need to be looking outside. This is too pretty. We're going to go direct to Meshy right now. Cactus 1942 direct Meshy. We'll hit that up. Aircraft is navving to Meshy. Let's go take a look outside. That is beautiful. We'll actually wait for the auto retract here on the on the flaps, and then there's the auto retraction. And we'll go ahead and get the flaps up so we don't overspeed them. Flaps up after takeoff checklist. Man, isn't that beautiful or what? See if we get a flyby view in here. Alright, let's go ahead and fly the airplane here real quick. I don't want to look outside and get lost. Cactus 1942, climb maintain flight level 230. Climb maintain 230 here, 5.8. So another thing, guys, this is all dependent on your company procedures. For us, as soon as the captain has a after takeoff flow, and his flow is after the gear is up, we're going to go ahead and close. I'm sorry, not close. We're going to go ahead and turn off our runway turn off and nose taxi light. The reason for that being is, if I can zoom in here, the turn off light and the nose, takeoff and taxi light are on a micro switch, so that as soon as they're retracted into the well, all these donations, I had to get a beer. So when the gear is retracted into the wheel well, the lights will automatically extinguish. So this is just a mere position switch here. We go ahead and turn those off before 10,000 feet. Not a huge deal. That'll vary depending on where you fly, what company you fly at. All right, we're going 8.5, climbing 10. Let's take a look out here at the wing. I am Dimitri. Greetings from Vancouver. Captain, sorry I missed the beginning. This mod was made for night flying. Thank you, sir. No worries about missing the beginning. We're glad to have it here. Thank you again for your donation. Super generous. Really appreciate it. Glad you could be here. This mod was definitely made for night flying. I also have a night light mod. I believe it's in the description. If not, I will throw it in there as soon as the stream concludes. Super chat coming in. Danny Blizzard. Get yourself a late night coffee, Captain. Thanks for the great streams. I'll have to catch up on this tomorrow. Hey, man, cheers. Thank you so much for your donation and support, man. I'm definitely going to be getting a late night, I don't know if it's going to be a coffee, it may be a bourbon, but I appreciate it. I hope you tune in tomorrow and pick up where you left off. Thanks for your support, Danny. 135th Dark Sword. I'm here as requested. Are you happy now? Yeah, buddy. That's Dark Sword is one of my buddies. We actually fly a lot of digital combat flight simulator together. He's a good dude. All right, we're 10.9. We're through 10,000 feet. This is when we go ahead and turn off the rest of the lights for the externals, and we're going to go ahead and turn off the wing light as well. And we would go ahead and ding the forward call button here on the. We would ding the forward call button here on the calls panel. It's written right there, so that the flight attendants would know we're above 10,000 feet, and they can go ahead and get up and do their service. All right, out of 10,000 feet, we're accelerating. everything is looking good. I'm just making sure that we are complying with everything we need to comply with. Looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and pop this open. Let's go sit right here. Maybe move this over for a minute. Oh, no, no. Tommy Monroe asks, is the MATAVIA mod what allows the cockpit door to open and close? Tommy, that's a good question. I don't know. I think it's just the flight factor. I don't know if it's the MATAVIA mod or not. I can't say for sure. I know I opened it with a MATAVIA mod. I don't know if I've actually tried to open it without the MATAVIA mod. So maybe somebody can help you out there in the comments. I'm unsure. That's a good question. Here's TS. There is a software, there is a software that you can download that calculates the performance for almost any aircraft. Do I have permission to post a link to it? Yeah, absolutely, Risty. I got no problem with the posting a link. When it comes to the performance calculations, guys, I don't mean for this to sound, like arrogant or anything, but just because I've got a lot of time in the aircraft, I'm not too worried about getting the exact performance numbers when I'm just enjoying some flight simulation. If I do one of those performance test videos for you, which I just filmed one yesterday, then I'll really calculate it and I'll show you the ACARS data and we'll go over it again. So be looking for that video to drop here, hopefully by the end of this week. If not, it'll be early next week. Another takeoff performance test video, and I explain the ACARS printout and where we get our perf data from. I have heard there are lots of calculators out there for getting your V1, your flex, and all that, and that's really cool. And absolutely, if you find a good program, that works for you, no reason you shouldn't use it. I just kind of ballpark my numbers. I mean, I've got a pretty good estimate on what I should be throwing in there for speeds, so that's kind of where I know I kind of gloss over the performance data there in the box when I put it in. I apologize for that, but it's kind of wise. Like, I've actually never really had to calculate our own V1, VR, and flex temperatures in the Airbus because it all comes via ACARS. Or at the worst case scenario, if we don't get an ACARS, what we can do is actually do what's called a radio closeout, and we can call our company, and what they will do is we tell them all the information from the Addons, and they will send us performance data. They will run the calculator that they have there on their software. So we don't actually calculate it as pilots, at least where I work. Now, I've had to do it for corporate jets and flying corporate and stuff like that, and balance field length. I've had to do that, but once I got to the airlines, I mean, it's kind of like the major leagues, right? You don't really, everyone caters to you in a sense. You no longer have to do that, so I've kind of been out of touch with that. Yeah, Tommy Moreau says there is a free 320-319 perf calculator online if you search for it. Awesome. If you guys find a real good one that you like, post it in the Discord. Throw it in the X-Plane chat, or if it's for Airbuses specifically, throw it in the Airbus hangar in the Discord, and I'll definitely take a look at it, and we can use it in the next stream. So if you have a good one that you like to use, go ahead and post it in the Discord for me. Let's see. Hey, I have a name. Says, why do some airports have ILS or RNAV, Zulu or Yankee? What is the difference between Zulu or Yankee for approach? So I have a name that has to do with TERPS data, and I can spend hours talking upon it, but there's different criteria for each approach that has to be labeled, and I'm really trying to dig back in the memory bank now. I believe maybe somebody can answer this for him, or he's already answered. I know NASA 6, he's not on right now, he's sleeping, he's in Spain, but he's going through flight school right now. He can probably answer this for you. I believe the Zulu, I'm not sure which one is which. It's either the Zulu or the Yankee, but one of them is an overlaid approach, meaning that before we had GPS on that approach, it used to be a VOR approach or maybe an NDB approach. So it used to be an approach that was not GPS, and then what they did is they went in and they overlaid it with GPS guidance. So there we go, 18,000 set standard, passing 18.1. We got standard set 1, 2, and 3 times. So they overlaid an older approach method. That's why it is labeled. I want to say Yankee, and Zulu might be a standalone. I might have that backwards, but I know one of those is an overlay and one is a standalone. I hope that helps a little bit, man. That's really digging back into the old flight instructor memory bank. Risty, I'll get permission. I'll send a link when I get permission. Yeah, absolutely, man. Post a link. If it doesn't let you post it here in the chat, like I said, throw it in the Discord. If you guys aren't a part of the V1 Discord, check out the Discord in the description. Go ahead and join. Say a little welcome message about yourself. The whole point of that welcome message is so we can ID who's coming into the channel, and we'll go ahead and give you a passenger tag, and we'll get information from you. So go ahead and post that in the V1, and I'll play around with them this week, and we can actually feature it in the next video if you guys want. We're going through some clouds here. Let's take a look at the outside temperature. We are +9. Oh, we just broke out through the top though, so we should have some anti-ice on, but I think we're going to be okay. We just broke out through the top. I just put that in position 1 since I'm flying. Good flight there. Yeah, just touched on some anti-ice. Let's go ahead and get it on in. We might be going through some more clouds while we're talking here, so let's go ahead and get engine anti-ice 1 and 2 on. Whoa, I just saw lightning pop off the right there. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. Just saw a lightning strike over there. It's kind of cool flying at night. You guys like this? I mean, I initially was kind of like, I don't know if we'd be able to see much, but it's kind of fun. It feels good to be flying at night. We'll talk about some more night ops too as we get up here. Storehead says, I think you worked for America West, RIP. Then after the merger with U.S. Airways, you were a pilot for them, and then after the merger with American, you're now a pilot with them. Well, Storehead, if you haven't heard before, I will not disclose who I work for. That's just, it's just a little too personal, a little too close to home. It is the internet, and you never know who's watching. Not that I'm saying I don't do anything bad or wrong, I'll leave it up to you guys to guess and speculate. But I do work for a major North American carrier, and I am flying the Airbus, so at least you have some reasonable guesses. That's all I will say about that. Wernerf says, huge fan, keep it up. Awesome, man. I'm glad to have you here. Glad you're a fan. I will definitely keep it up. Tommy Monroe asks, will you abort a takeoff before 80 knots is flex power set? I think it is if flex power is not set. Will you abort a takeoff before? Oh, that was on the takeoff roll there. You noticed it just said man thrust because I didn't reach the toga. No, not because flex power is not set. Only if that's because pilot doing. So in the real aircraft, obviously you can feel the detents much heavier. They're much more. There's a lot more tactile feel there, so you can really feel the detents. You go straight to them. In my sim right now, I use an X56 throttle, and it's a little hard to find that detent. I might have to fine-tune it a little bit, but that's why I wasn't able to reach the flex detent. So no, I wouldn't abort a takeoff, low 80 knots for that. I would, however, abort a takeoff if we had something like thrust lever angle or thrust not set, something that was no wrongdoing by ourselves and something didn't match up in the box, then yeah, we'd probably abort, try to figure it out. When in doubt, go toga, see if it fixes it for you. Let's go ahead and keep the climb going here. Cactus 1942, climb 19, flight level 330 for Cactus 1942. So yeah, typically you won't have that little amber box there saying thrust not set. Now I have had it where in the Embraer, when I was flying Embraer 190 on a charter flight, that we set the thrust levers for takeoff out of Canada actually, and we were coming out of, oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Canada, it was, oh man, Halifax. It was Halifax, Nova Scotia, and we were set the takeoff thrust, and it said thrust lever angle not toga or something. and the thrust levers were in toga. So the engine, something was incorrect between the linkage of where the throttle was and the position it was in. So that was actually an abort, and that actually popped on above 80 knots. So we actually had a high-speed eject. And the whole point of that 80 knots called out, guys, if you're unaware, is that determines, if the captain flying the aircraft, if it's going to be a high-speed abort or a low-speed abort. Anything below 80 knots is considered a low-speed abort. Anything above 80 knots is considered a high-speed abort. So definitely aborted for that one. Vizdi says, I can't post the video and it just get deleted. I'm sorry, man. It must be something with the... well, this is a terrible view for you guys to look at. I apologize. I might just stay in the cockpit for a little bit now. I'm trying to find a good view where it's not just looking at a black screen. Why don't we zoom back? Let's go to the jump seat. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a cool shot right there. I'm sorry, where was I at? I skipped a bunch of comments. Let me get up to that. So that was Tommy Monroe. I hope that answered the question about the flex power set. Tommy Monroe also asked, is flap auto retraction modeled on the TOLUS, or is it just a flight factor? I believe it's modeled on the TOLUS as well, because I think we did it in the last stream. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think it is modeled. If not, it should be modeled. It is... it's universal across the 19, the 20, and the 21. So if you're not getting an auto retraction at about 205 knots, then it's something is bugged. Now remember, it's just a flap retraction. It is not a slat retraction. So if you're taking off with flaps 1 plus F, you're going to get a flap retraction. And it will not retract if you're at flaps 2. So obviously, because if you're at flaps 2, you can't reach 205 knots. So, well, you can, but you'd be overspeeding. So if you're taking off at flaps 1 plus F, and you reach about 205 knots, you're going to get that auto retract for the flaps, but the slats will remain out, so make sure you do retract the flap lever into the 0 position to get those slats up in time. One more question for Tommy Monroe. It looks like he asked, when crossing a runway, even an inactive runway, what lights will come on? Okay, so that's a good question, Tommy. When crossing a runway, everything comes on, even inactive, even if it's closed. And it's my personal, technique as well, is everything comes on. Cross the runway, maximum visibility for yourself. You want anybody to see you. If there is some kind of confusion or somebody is in the wrong place. Apologize, I'm having a little sip from my late night coffee and bourbon there, so apologize for that. But yeah, crossing a runway at night, especially, everything comes on, man. You want to be, it doesn't matter if there's somebody holding short next to you or whatnot, you got to be visual crossing a runway. Even if it's closed, I still do it. Slam Cannon says he loves DCS. Awesome, man. Well, hit me up in the Discord. We do have a squadron that I fly with. Founding members as well, so we fly quite a bit of DCS. I actually haven't been in it too much recently because I've been really enjoying the streaming platform. I know I enjoy making videos, but it takes a lot of time to make really good edits, guys. I'm not the most I'm not the fastest video editor out there, so it takes me a little bit of time to kind of get things where I want them. So that kind of put the drawback on making so many videos, but then my buddy was like, hey, why don't you just stream? Whoa! We just had a massive wind shift. That was a massive wind shift. That reminds me of a story that I'm going to tell you guys. Remind me. I'll tell you a story here in a moment about that. But yeah, I really enjoy the streaming platform because I can do what I love, and I'm still getting the content to you guys. Let's go ahead and turn off the engine anti-ice here. And I'm still getting the content to you guys. And I don't have to waste a lot of time, if you will, with edits. Alright, let's see. Risty said just posted in the Discord. Awesome. We will definitely check it out after this flight. Bill Barrett asks, is that what the nose lighting looks like in the real thing? Yes. I mean, if you're referring to on the ground when we just had the nose light on like that and the way it shines right down the middle and the turn-off lights. And in my Airbus Professional series, I do a walk around and you can, I believe I mentioned which lights are which on the nose gear. But the runway turn-off lights, they are angled out. And then you have your taxi light, which is the small center bulb, and then you have your landing light, which is the large center bulb on the nose gear. And I apologize, I don't really remember what the default flight factor lighting looks like. But I will tell you, this MATAVIA mod lighting makes it look exactly how it looks in real life. I swear. I mean, it's combined with the BSS sounds. I mean, if you don't have BSS sound pack, you're flying the flight factor. You're not even flying the flight factor. You need to get the BSS sound pack. And I'm not even affiliated with BSS. I wish I was. Wingman, typical northeastern weather, yeah. Storehead asks, how long have you been flying in this aircraft? So in this aircraft, I've been flying the Airbus single aisle family for, I want to say about not that long. About 5 years. 5 or 6 years in the Airbus now. I think I coming up on 6 years or 7 years in November. 6 or 7 in November. Wojtek CYVR asked, oh, he was asking I am Dimitri. Storehead says, I know I was just making a theory. Uh-oh. He's making a theory about who I work for. BlueMax717, is it just me or is his voice low? Well, I hope it's not low. If it is low, guys, let me know. I can boost the mic volume. Dimitri says AA has the biggest Airbus fleet after all. They sure do. Your accent is a dead giveaway. You work for Air Canada. I don't know, man. You tell me. Swarm 3513 says, with your airline, were you stationed or did you choose? So Swarm, it's kind of been a little bit of both. You know, I worked for one regional airline where I was based on the East Coast, and I did a lot of commuting, and that's why I said when I said I've done this flight before. We used to do wasn't exactly this flight, but the Boston shuttle or LaGuardia shuttle, and all you do for 4 days is go back and forth from LaGuardia to either Philly, DC, or Charlotte. Just do that for 4 days in a row, like twice a day, up and down the East Coast. So that was when I was working at the regional level. But I was based in Philadelphia at my last airline. So my previous airline, I was based in Philadelphia, and that's where I got a lot of my East Coast flying experience. For my airline where I'm at now, I live in Texas, so that's where I choose to live there. And that's where I consider myself based. You guys are good. I'm trying to put a puzzle together here. DJAW747 asked, so you auto retract only goes from 1 to 0, not 2 to 1 or 3 to 2 positive position-wise? Yes, sir, that is correct. It only goes from flaps 1 plus F to 0, or 1 plus 0, if you will, but not any other position. How are we looking? We are 338 miles from LaGuardia. We are looking good. Let's take a look outside here real quick. Probably not going to see much. But hey, you guys wanted to fly at night, so we're flying at night. The night lighting does look pretty incredible, though. When you start flying around long enough, you'll be able to start IDing towns just from their silhouettes at night. Let's see, where are we? If I go ahead and pull up the airport page here. AVC. First I say that, I'm not too familiar. I'm not sure where AVC is. I've seen LVL. I've flown over that a bunch of times. I don't know the name of it, though. It just rings a bell. This is Richmond, Virginia up here. Change is going on down here. This is kind of a cool shot, cool view. Monroe and Dimitri are still trying to figure out who I'm working for. I will never confirm nor deny. Who's to say it's an American-based airline? What if it is Canadian? Who knows? Hey, I have a name. That's what airports have you flown into in New England? Well, in my career, I've flown into, oh man, so obviously flown into Boston. That's in New England, right? New England, Providence, Hart, that's Connecticut. Pretty much, if it's long enough to get an airliner in there and it's got airline service, chances are I've probably flown in there. So I was based out on the East Coast for 4.5, almost 5 years. Actually, a little bit longer than that. It was about 5.5 years I was out on the East Coast. So I've pretty much burned a lot of holes in the eastern seaboard skyline with jet engines. Riz T says, isn't it possible for someone to edit your videos if you want? You know, it would be, but I mean, I'm doing this for fun, and I want the video to be genuine. I want it to be what I created for you guys. I don't just want to have somebody do it for me. And who knows? Maybe in the future, if we eventually grow this channel into something much larger. But I really want you guys to get the best content, and it's kind of that age-old saying. You know, if you want something done right, have it done yourself. And I actually, while it takes me a little bit of time, I do enjoy editing videos. I took video editing classes in school for a little bit, TV production, things like that. So I do have a little bit of background with it, and I do enjoy it. It just takes me time, especially when having a family and a baby on the way, and this job, obviously. So, and also, in my spare time, if I'm not flight simming, I'm actually a tournament angler. I do a lot of bass fishing, if you're familiar, for largemouth bass. All kinds of fish, really. But I'm an avid fisherman, so just trying to balance the time out. Tommy Monroe says, do those massive wind shifts occur when using other weather engines besides the default? I'm considering buying one from the store, and any recommendations I do. Tommy, that's a great question. Maybe some guys in the comments can answer that for you. I'm actually looking for a weather program myself. I use default weather just because everything else, it just seems like it's kind of another METAR reader, or I don't know how well it works, and I've heard it's really bad on frames, but with the new system that I'm running now, I don't think it should be an issue. But I am also looking for a really good weather add-on. And if you guys are aware of one, if you guys have one of your favorites, post it up here in the comments. Say some pluses or minuses about what weather plugin you use, because I am also looking for one. All right, here we come, Mach Alt Star. Let's go ahead and put the TCAS to all. I think we just hit another weather shift. We're hitting some turbulence here. We're hitting some turbulence, I can hear it. And, so where's the dome light? I can turn the dome light on for you. You guys want the dome light on or off? You do dome light on or dome light off? You let me know. Keep it off for now until you guys see otherwise. Let's zoom up here to the nose. Let's look at the lights. See if I can find a good angle for that. Right off the FC. Oh, that reminds me of the story that I wanted to tell you guys. So the other night, I don't know if I've shared this with you before, maybe you haven't heard it before. It wasn't necessarily weather related, but wake turbulence related. We were cruising along on a night just like this. I'm sitting there. I had the tray table out. I think I did tell the story on one of my first streams. So if you've heard it, I apologize. If you haven't heard it, you're gonna hear it now. But I had the tray table out. I had my iPad on the tray table. It was a late night flight. We were coming back. We were delayed, super late. I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning or something. middle of nowhere, flyover states, very little traffic, not much weather either. It's a pretty clear night, and I'm sitting there, iPad on the tray table, seatbelt sign off, and out of nowhere, the plane just gets friggin' rocked. And I mean, my iPad that was on the tray table darn near hit me in the nose. Like, it came up to my face, and I was just, what? Just boom! Just the plane. It just felt like we got hit by a bus, and no pun intended. And the plane dropped, and it just rattled, and then it was over within like 3 seconds. And I mean, it was the most just abrupt, violent thing. I came down here. We should also do our cruise flow while we're down here. We'll do it. But I came down here to the ECAM, lower ECAM page, right? I start looking at the engine page, making sure we still have our engines on. Then I came over here and I was checking the hydraulics out. I was like, okay, are we leaking hydraulics? I pulled up the flight control page. I'm like, did we lose a wing? What did we lose? I thought, I mean, it was violent. But what had happened was we actually passed over somebody's wake, and it was a very lightly winded, excuse me, keep burping. It was a very lightly winded night, like it is kind of here, only 8 knots, which at this altitude is very, very rare. I'm not even sure how accurate that is, but very light winds up at altitude. And what can happen with those wake turbulence vortices is they will linger longer. They just kind of drift down and out from the last aircraft. And we flew in over a wake, and man, talk about an adrenaline rush. It'll wake you up. So that was kind of my little wake turbulence story. Anyway, we're up here in cruise. Let's go ahead and look at the engine, do a little status check here. And we're going to start looking at the arrival. So here we are again with the bleed page. I don't know why this keeps getting bugged out. I think it's a bug on Flight Factor, but this high pressure bleed should be closed in flight. The high pressure bleed valve is used for when the aircraft is at lower power settings and you're not going to get that pressure. This really opens up the high pressure bleed and will take bleed pressure from a higher stage in the compressor stage in the engine. So if it's actually open in flight, like it's indicating right now, this is actually a maintenance write-up. So this is why my eye always comes to this. I'm like, why is this still not working properly? Because this is actually a maintenance write-up with the high pressure valve open in flight. So that needs to be addressed. Let's go here. Pressure page. We are in the closed configuration here with the avionics vent where everything else is looking good. We can see our delta P, or change in PSI, differential pressure. Vertical speed for the cabin is 0. Our cabin is currently sitting at 6,800 feet. Take a quick look at the electrical page. Make sure everything's running good. We got, generator 1, generator 2, looking at their loads. Everything looks normal in the green. Hydraulics, we touched on this a little bit, but making sure we have good fuel levels, or not fuel levels, good hydraulic levels here. In the real aircraft, due to the pressure difference up at altitude, it's not uncommon to see that these levels are actually somewhere down here in the white for 1 or 2 of these systems, just because there is the way that the hydraulic system is routed. When the gear is up and you're up at altitude, it may show lower than normal. But you also want to check it. There was a crew not too long ago that had a hydraulic failure going into Atlanta, I believe. They were in an Airbus. They pulled up the hydraulic page, and before the ECAM popped up, they were able to notice that I think it was either the green or the yellow, that this carrot was sitting right above the yellow. So if it's sitting right above the yellow, you're not going to get an ECAM message. But now you know, hey, we're definitely leaking something, so you can kind of prepare ahead of time for what to expect. And eventually it did leak into the yellow. They declared emergency and landed. Fuel page, we're still burning out that center tank there. 700 kilos left from that. APU is off. Temperatures in the cabin, 24C. Everything looks good. Alright, let's see, the wheel page is showing 0. More often than not, you're going to see some kind of number here instead of 0. Fun fact for the Airbus, if you haven't watched the professional series or you missed it, the only indication that is in these status pages that will not trigger an ECAM is this right here, the cockpit oxygen. If this depletes below its minimum level into the orange, you won't actually get an ECAM for it. So, just a little fun fact. That looks good. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we are. We're approaching the Tuxton. Just pull up the charts here. DJaw747 says, it's such a bummer that regional pay is so terrible. It seems to me that the flying that you do is pretty interesting and varied. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, it's gotten much better as far as regional flying in the recent years. When I started, I mean, it was pretty terrible. You could make more working at your local Walmart probably than you would flying around the regionals. But it's getting a little bit better. Make sure I missed anything in here on the star. But yeah, you fly the same routes, man. You're flying the same routes as any major airline. You're going into it just as many times, if not more. You're flying, 4 or 5 legs a day is not uncommon. Whereas you get up into the legacy carriers and you do 1 or 2 legs a day. Heck, I complain when I have to fly 3 legs a day. Slam Cannon says, my father was an A&P mech for U.S. Airways at Philly back in the 2000s. Missed me some legit cheesesteaks. Yeah. So, yeah, the Philadelphia's got some good cheesesteaks, man. Philly cheesesteaks. Actually, their arrival is based on cheesesteaks. It's like the Pat's One arrival. It's got a bunch of different Philly cheesesteak restaurants on it. 135th Darkster says you're flying right over his present location, tossing flares out the door. I would, man. We don't have any flares on this big boy tonight. We could probably go ahead and turn that seatbelt sign off there. Danny Blitzer says, would you have the logo light on or does it automatically turn off? Danny, I think we actually solved this question on an earlier stream. I actually didn't even know the answer. Somebody asked, when does the logo light actually activate? And I didn't know, because I know it comes on in either 1 or 2, but it also automatically extinguishes, as you can tell here. And I believe it is either flaps config 2 or gear down and weight on wheels. I think those are the parameters. Somebody's able to look it up. I actually didn't even know that. So I think that's right. I think that's the way that the logo light will work. Yeah, we keep that switch on because that is the nav lights, position lights. So we definitely want to have that switch on. Tommy Rose says, my neighbor who is a CFI retired from U.S. Airways in the early 2000s. Awesome. We've got a lot of buddies that retired from U.S. Airways. Might have to do a 737-400s for gotta keep that pilot fuel going. Alright, what do you guys think of a little selfie camera? I don't know. I've been tossing the idea around. We'll see. I kind of like remaining anonymous. That way you guys can hunt me down and do scary things. I don't know. We'll see. I've been tossing the idea around of a little selfie camera. Jermaine Smith, what's poppin'? I'm super late. Hey man, no worries. Glad to have you here, Jermaine Smith. Glad you can make it. We're just in cruise. We're getting ready to start our descent into LaGuardia. So I'm going to set up the box here pretty soon. LaGuardia is one that you don't want to get behind on. So I'm actually going to go ahead and set that up right now, guys, and then we can continue chatting. But LaGuardia, New York, this is a big time. Don't be messing around here. So let's go ahead and pull out the box. Pop that out here. We got our constraints on. Let's take a look at where we're going. So we're going to Tuxton. Oops. Let's go to plan mode first. Shows a disc on there, but there's not. I don't know what that's all about. Let's go ahead and fix that. Let's just go direct to Tuxton. Let's go to the second one. That's weird. Oh, that's weird. What about direct gear? There we go. That cleared up that discount. Not sure why that was doing that. We're going to turn the aircraft to direct gear. We're not recommending that into the sea. Alright, so let's go ahead and back into plan mode. Let's look at this arrival. E&O is at or above flight level 240. That's Smyrna. Ridge is actually above 27. There we go. There. Ridgey, E&O, Smyrna. Skippy above 190. Besby at above 17. Davies 13,000. Brand at above 11. Corey at or above 10,000 feet. That's going to lead us into our initial setup here for end of the arrival. It bottoms out at Proud, which we know we're going to be at minimum of 10,000 feet. We're actually going to be lower than that. We're going to vector ourselves down. But this arrival would actually be kind of cool to do it in that, so we'll have to set it up. But real controllers will actually, for landing on 1-3, actually vector you right up the Hudson River and go right over the Statue of Liberty in downtown New York. It's really beautiful. My sister actually lives down there in New York City, so I always give her a little wave as I'm flying over. I can't wait for the new X-Plane update when they do New York. They're doing a whole overhaul to the New York City skyline, so that's going to be pretty cool to see that. Alright, now we have the ILS runway 13. Let me go ahead and pull up that chart. AviTav is coming, guys. It's coming. It's coming. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on LS push button so let's see what we got. 108.5. That's the frequency. We're waiting for this to change. This will change a little bit closer. We're going to auto-tune. Final approach course will be 134 degrees. We can see that right here. Steed is our final approach fixed altitude. That's at 1,900 feet. There it is. The DA for us, let's go ahead and set that in there. The DA for us is going to be 212 feet. I'm going to pull up the weather, so pull up my A-car's weather here. LaGuardia's reporting. It's a nice night down there. 299.6. Really standard temperature. Temperature of 29 degrees. Winds are 180 at 5 knots, just light winds. Beautiful night in New York City. That looks good. Our fuel, we've got plenty of extra gas. Alternate. Hey, why didn't I get our alternate fuel? We should have alternate fuel there for alternate. We should have a figure here. No, I don't. I get a little hesitant, guys, to start plugging in numbers in this fuel box here because I had a couple crashes, so I'm gonna not mess around too much with that. We got plenty of gas there. Our secondary, we're just gonna go ahead and copy the active flight plan right now, and this is when we would go into the do menu, ATSU, and send off for our ACARS performance data. They will come back with our landing and performance numbers. We're going to descend on this arrival at 79 Mach, 320 knots. Just so we're not riding the barber pole all the way down. If you are doing a cost index of 99, you want to make sure that you check that descent speed, especially if it's bumpy. You know, we're flying in the summertime here in North America and the United States, and it gets pretty bumpy. So if you're at 80 Mach, 340 knots, there's a chance you may be bumped into that red line. So I always back it down just a little bit. Everything else looks to be set there. We'll go ahead and close that, put that on there. We're going to land on runway 13 in LaGuardia, guys. We're actually going to go medium brakes with this one. This is one of those instances where we will use medium brakes. I see a lot of guys using medium brakes. A lot of my buddies that I fly with, they use medium brakes in the Airbus in flight sim. But in the real world, obviously you're going to get your performance data, and it's going to tell you your landing distance. So the landing distance card that we get printed out from the aircraft, it comes out of the printer right over here. It will say, it'll tell us our landing distance with low brakes, with medium brakes, and then max braking, which is basically standing on the brakes pedals, not using the max lever. Don't confuse that with max braking. We never use max on the auto brake setting for landing. It's actually prohibited. It's not designed to land with that on max. So, but this situation, since we have 7,000 feet available for landing and we are fully loaded, we're pretty heavy, we are going to use medium auto brakes, full reverse, full flaps. And like I said, I don't know how smooth it's going to be. We're going to try to make it a nice one, but just like in real life, guys, you come into 1.3 or 2.2 in LaGuardia, you got 7,000 feet of pavement, or else you're going to be in the suburbs or in the river. You don't mess around. So we're going to put it down. We're going to get stopped nice and short. Alright, let's go ahead and zoom it back here a little bit. Let me just double check our top of descent. Let's get back to some of those questions. You guys are asking some great questions tonight. Also, let's put LaGuardia 1.3 here. Back to distance. Top of descent about 30 miles out. Zoom that out. Perfect. Alright, we are ready to go. Hopefully these clouds are clear out here. We'll see the skyline. I think we'll be low enough. What was the ceiling anyway? Let's check what the ceiling was. Few at 6,000, so hopefully, yeah, we'll be able to see some nice lights as we go in there. Wingman says Active Sky is a good plugin for using night, or I'm sorry, using weather. UWXP will be a good combo. Forgive me, guys, I'm a little unfamiliar. UWXP. What is UWXP? But I've heard good things about Active Sky. We'll have to check it out. Dome off. Yeah, we'll turn it off. I thought it was a little bright. Tommy Rose says he's tried with ASXP, but the X-Plane removed it after technical difficulties, and I hate X-Aviations, and their support was terrible. Activation. Yeah, you know, I've got a couple of X-Aviation products, and it is a little bit funkier to use. I do also love their Hot Start TBM. That might be one of the best options in X-Plane. Bill Barrett says X, Y, and Z often have to do with how the ILS is entered. Different initial fix, have a look at different punch plate, runway 079 ADDF. I'm going to look into that, guys. I'm going to look into that XYZ labeling. I remember I used to know it, but that was a long time ago now. I've kind of dumped a lot of that information. But I am, if you're unfamiliar, I am doing the Piston series, and that's bringing me back to my roots. So I do have all my old books out, all my old flight instructor stuff, old piston engine stuff. So I actually just finished the edit and uploaded episode 2 of the Piston series. It will be coming out on Friday. Be looking for that if you guys are interested in the Freight Dog Piston series. Awesome airplane, Carenado PA31. I know it's Carenado, but that airplane is a gem for some reason. It flies right, it feels right. I flew it. I got about 500 hours in the airplane flying freight. It's a great airplane. Check out the Freight Dog Piston series if you're interested in that. Wojtek, can you see why VR says wake turbulence? As far as what we hit, I don't know if we hit wake turbulence here in the sim. I think we just had a weather or wind shift, but yeah, I hit wake turbulence when I was telling that story. Definitely awake. Scary stuff. I've been a wake turbulence magnet lately. I don't know why. Oh, you were asking what wake turbulence was. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. So wake turbulence. Same Ken, thanks for answering that. Yeah, it is. It is just wakes coming off the wingtips. Very similar to, well, not very similar to, you know, if you're on the lake and you pass a boat's wake. Kind of similar thing. You know, an airplane passes by will create vortices off the wingtips, and they can be pretty abrupt if you fly into them. It can actually be fatal if you're in a light aircraft and you hit a large enough wake. All right, here comes 5 miles prior to top of descent. Let's go ahead and we're going to push the altitude knob in to manage the descent. Well, we're going to try to. Didn't want to do it. Let's try it over here. Oh, look at me. This is why you don't. This is why you don't drink and fly, guys. We got to put it in the altitude. Now we can push it. There we go. Thrust tidal descent. Whoa! Center tank fuel pump. Oh, that's nothing to worry about. That's me. I had that in manual mode. Our center tanks are empty. Nothing to worry about there. That's good. It'll clear itself out. All right, there we go. We are in thrust idle descent mode. And here we go. Danny Blizzard says he's got into X-Plane because don't like flying and wanted to get a better understanding of how a plane works. So it's good to hear from a real pilot. Oh yeah, man, Danny. It's if you don't like flying, man. If you've got fears of flying, I've had a lot of friends that have had a fear of flying, but then once you break it down and you can understand a little bit about what's going on, sometimes they end up loving it. So, glad you're enjoying the content, man. Glad to have you here. Tom Henrose face cam says a face cam would be great in the stream. Wojtek says Captain Canada has a camera, but maybe he wants to be famous. Yeah, you know, I don't want to be famous, so I'm all about flying under the radar. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a Captain Stanley cam. I've got a little Beagle, so maybe I'll put a little camera on Stanley's situation, dress him up as a captain. I love hound dogs, man. Yeah, Sam Cannon says, props to you, Danny. Most people don't want to take the time to learn something they may not understand or are a bit scared of it. Yeah, lots of respect to you, man. Definitely. Way to overcome, you know, some fears and reservations that you may have. It's definitely a great way to do it. X-Plane is a great tool for all sorts of different things. Wingman says the new Navigraph charts have overlays on the top of the map portion. Excellent add-on. Ooh. We'll look into that too. HD Simulation asks, what approach and runway are we taking? We are going to do the ILS 13 into LaGuardia. We're on the Corey 4 RNAV arrival. We are descending via the Star right now into New York's LaGuardia Airport. It's going to be a juicy one, I hope, guys. I love flying into LaGuardia. It always keeps you on your toes. It's one of those airports where, you know, LaGuardia, Chicago, Kennedy, Miami, LAX, San Diego. Those are kind of the big five that really, when you're flying in there, you got to be on your toes because just the amount of traffic, tight space, a lot of congested airspace, not a lot of space on the ground even, you know, like, man, there's not a lot of room to make a wrong turn. We're picking up McGuire 8 this year. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. You don't need to listen to that. Will Barrett says wind shifts are pretty rare with active Sky XP. Huh. Well, you know what, guys? I might have to look into active Sky as well. How is the frames? Like, so I've obviously never used weather add-on, but are the frames going to be worse? Or I know that there's, you know, at least in the FSX days, sometimes getting add-on weather would actually be better on your performance and frame rates. Right now, I love my new rig. It's pretty much crushing the sim, making it super smooth, even in the flight factor, going into hardcore airports with streaming and OBS up. So I think my rig can handle it. You know, I'm sure we can work it out. But I want something good quality. You know, I don't want just a random weather program. But I do think it's time to upgrade from the default X-Plane weather. Danny says, right, got me back to sleep. So back to sleep. Catch y'all soon. Oh, man. I feel your pain, brother. RizT at Wingman, you can also use a chart fox to get update charts, but yeah, Navigraph is clean and nice software. I'm going to look at the Navigraph. I'm writing that down. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy Monroe says UWXP is the Ultra Weather X-Plane, enhances weather appearance. Okay. I kind of figured it was something like that. All right, we're coming up to our first restriction here. Bessie at or above 17,000. That looks good. We're going through 20,000 feet. Let's go ahead and make a PA. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about 104 miles from LaGuardia, New York's International Airport. We should be touching down here in just the next 25 to 20 minutes. Weather in LaGuardia, it's a nice night. 82 degrees, light winds, partly cloudy skies. On behalf of this Dallas Space Flight Crew, I want to be the first to welcome you into LaGuardia. Right, what did we have for the meter down there? We had 290906, 290906. I'm gonna set that once, set twice, set 3 times. STDs for you and me. All right, 290906. 18.4, descending 10,000. Things are looking up. Alex TV, have you seen the Sully movie? Yes, Alex TV, I have. And I actually saw them recording, filming the movie with Tom Hanks in LaGuardia. It was in LaGuardia. They were filming the movie, and I saw Tom Hanks over there standing at the gate. It was a really cool shot. Oh, this is a cool shot here. Getting ready to come in up the seaboard here. Leave it here for a minute. Jacob Pearl, first off, hello and thank you for this. Thank you for being here. Alex TV, do you ever fly with Boeing? I'm new to this channel. I haven't really done it yet on any streams, but I do have a soft spot for the 727. I have a soft spot for the 737-200. I love flying that airplane with SIVA INS, old school. And I do fly the 737-400 a little bit. I do not fly the Zebo mod. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, I do fly a couple of Boeing. 727, 73200, a little bit of the 400. I have the Flight Factor 767, but I wasn't very impressed with it initially. I don't know if it's, I'm sure it's gotten better from now, but I wasn't impressed with it initially. There's some bugs. The Flight Factor kind of pissed me off at one point in my life, so whatever. But I do love some Boeing aircraft, don't get me wrong. If you get Active Sky, can you do a setup tutorial? Tommy Monroe, absolutely. If I get Active Sky, I'll play around with it, and then I can try to do a tutorial video, or really show you what I've learned from it. But it's I'm going to have to do a little messing around with it myself. I'm going to look at it. I've got it on my notes. So tomorrow I've got a list of to-do items for you guys to make this content better for you. I've got Active Sky, Navigraph, and I also have AviTab on the to-do list. Oh, and also, obviously, I skipped X camera. I'm getting that as well, just to make the views a little bit better. Wow, this is a cool shot here coming in. Let me back off the nose a little bit so we get a little bit more of this. Let's dim these lights here just a bit. Oh yeah, maybe a little bit more. Oh yeah. Guys, that is, how beautiful is that, huh? Jacob Pearl, just wanted to let you know, sound effects to voice ratio is pretty high. Having a hard time hearing everything you're saying. Let me go ahead and turn down the desktop audio there a little bit for you. Boost my mic just a tad. Alright, I'm going to talk like this now. Hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Apologize for that. I just get so excited with these BSS sounds, guys. I love the BSS. Andrei Bogdanovsky says, does affect your FPS because default X-Plane just do one or few cloud layers, but weather engine adding more real and more layers. I see. Okay. VR will give you... Oh, Kango26, have you tried X-Plane in VR? Alex TV says VR will give you vertigo. I don't know, guys. My buddy just called me. Oh, we got to do some work here. My buddy called me yesterday. He said he flew in VR for the first time in the Oculus Rift, and he said it was so darn good. He went out and bought one today. So I don't know. Problem is, when I'm simming, I like to have a couple cocktails, maybe a beer. I got to keep an eye on my dogs. Pretty soon, I'm going to be keeping an eye on a baby. So I don't know if having VR headset on would be a good thing. My wife, then my wife could come out and stab me in the neck or something. I don't know if I like that vulnerability. Andre says, with my rig, I shouldn't have any problems. I will definitely give it a shot, guys. I'm going to look into it. All right, we're coming up to 10,000 feet here I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the lights. As we approach 10,000 feet, we go ahead and get our, let me come to a better overhead view here. The wing lights are going to come on, the runway turnoff comes on, and go ahead and extend and illuminate the wing or the landing lights. And you'll see them pop out here. Beautiful. Alright, here comes 10,000 feet at Corey. We're going to have to be self-vectoring ourselves, so we're going to go ahead and select speed 250 knots. And we see we have pikes out there. We still got a little way to go. Apple and Proud. Okay, so we're level 10,250. Let's go ahead and activate, confirm the approach phase. That is set, looks good. We're level 10,000. We're going to descend to 8,000. Thrust idle, open descent. There we go. Actually, let's look out this wing. Yeah, there we go. I am Dimitri says, I've tried and owned literally all weather plugins for X-Plane 11, but Active Sky seems to be one of the better ones out there. AS, XP, and X-Vision is the best overall combo. Okay. Well, I'm going to take your word for it, Dimitri, and I'm going to look into AS, XP, and X-Vision. I have X-Vision. Yes, I do have X-Vision. So ASXP will be what I need to get going. I'm going to look into that tomorrow, send my notes. I may stream another time this week. We'll see. I'm really loving these stream, guys. I don't want it to get repetitive, but if you want to see me fly a different aircraft, maybe you want to see me fly the Boeing 737-200, we can do that as well. But I'm kind of just, we're waiting. We're going to do that Euro tour here pretty soon. I'm waiting for my buddy to come out with the livery that we're going to fly over to Europe. Before we actually get that trip started. But I'm going to look into that ASXP. Thank you, Dimitri. Slam Cannon says, V1 Sim, the great thing about Active Sky is that it has lots of options, so you can reduce layers for better frame rates, weather, and distances. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like something that that would be a good idea to have. Another great thing is that they're on top of support and updates, always updating like the TOLUS of weather programs, like the TOLUS of weather programs. Awesome. Well, that's good. Andre says the 7675 probably one of the most complete in X-Plane now. Well, that is good to hear. I haven't flown it since, it's been a very long time. So I will. I do love the 757. I don't know if you don't like 757. I mean, come on, how can you not like the way a 757 looks? It's so cool. Just that real long, slender body, and big old engines hanging off the side. I mean, it's a sexy looking airplane. I'll have to fire it back up, Andre. I'll fire it back up. I'll update it and give it a whirl. Kango 26. I can only fly in VR now. It's come a long way since it was first released. I can't recommend it enough. That's what I'm here, man. That's what I hear. Rizty, also remember to look into performance calculator I sent you. Will do, Rizty. It's in the Discord. I will have a look at that as well. Performance calculator. Writing this down. All right, man, you guys are making me do a lot of work here. Nah, I enjoy it. Jacob Pearl, better, thank you. Good, I'm glad it's working for you a little better. Hey, I have a name as a default lighting. The only add-on I have, I believe, is listed in the description. It's just I think it's like the TK Night Light mod or something. It's the only mod I have for nighttime and X-Vision. Much love for the 320, 319 right now. Many streamers only stream the 737 because it's such a high-quality product, so the TOLUS and Flight Factor don't get enough attention. Yeah, you know, that's kind of how I felt, Tommy, so I do like staying with these... with the Airbus, especially, man, somebody said that BSS is coming out for sound pack with is coming out with a sound pack. We're going to descend to 7,000. for the TOLUS 319. If that is true, if there is a BSS sound pack coming out for the TOLUS 319, oh my gosh, guys, it's going to be hard not to fly that airplane. All right, we are 7.9, descending for 7,000. Speed is 250. I zoom in here. Oh, it's kind of hard on the eyes. So that's Kennedy over there. That's JFK. Newark is off to our left. LaGuardia is straight out in front of us. There's Newark right there. I've spent a lot of time going in and out of there. Teterboro should be... Can't really see it yet. Should be out there as well. Where's TEB? Should be just past Newark. Maybe it's not rendered in yet. Risti, I hope I'm saying that right. Risti. Also, if you want to have it, or cloud layers or more puffy clouds with default weather gen. Interesting. I am Dimitri says these Batavia textures are sexy. Man, they sure are, dude. They sure are. Alright, we're coming into New York now. Here's the Hudson River, guys. That's the Hudson coming out of there. So typically what we would get is, follow the Hudson and, prepare for, you get a vector. You say, fly the Hudson. Was it river? Not the river visual. It's the Hudson and something else. I forget what the clearance is. But essentially, we're going to follow the Hudson. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Thrust idle, open descent. Here comes beautiful New York City, guys. Starting to light up. Descend and maintain 4,000. Actually, you know what? I'm actually set up for the runway. I want him to land 2-2. We're going to do a quick runway change, guys. This is actually a good learning progress. I want to land 2-2. The winds are good enough. We're going to land 2-2. So, we're going to pull heading. We're going to come left. Heading 010. We're going to do a runway change. Flight plan. LaGuardia. Arrival. ILS to runway 22. Insert that, and we're going to go direct, and I'm going to look at the chart. I don't know what I was thinking. We always take off 1-3, we don't land 1-3. They're very rare anyway. Runway 22, we're going to draw the line off of a Yo-Man right here, radial in 045. Insert that, full heading, descend and maintain 4,000. And we need to update our perf MDA. It's still going to be 212 though. So quick runway change there. If you have one run already in there, you're going to keep your environmentals, which is good. Just make sure you reset your MDA. We also want to make sure we have the proper localizer, which is 110.5 for ILS runway 22. That looks good. We need to wait for this to switch over to URD is the identifier. We'll be waiting for that as we get closer. Well, let's go ahead and enjoy some of this scenery here. So we've got, oh man, this is awesome. So I'll show you where my sister lives. This is New York City downtown. This is Brooklyn Bridge. My sister lives right here in this building. One of these buildings right over here. We got to look at a wing view. Oops, wrong side. We're going to be so high and fast, but I don't care. This is just too good. There's the Big Apple, guys. There's Kennedy, LaGuardia. This is the Hudson River we're flying over. This is downtown New York. This is the Sears Tower right here. World Trade Center Memorial is right down here. Man, that's beautiful. All right, we have to do a little bit of flying here. We got to reduce speed. Let's come back to 180 knots. Come right, heading 040. And back outside, please. Yes, please. All right. Man, that's beautiful. It is true about the 319 mod, but people are super annoyed, or he's super annoyed about people asking him when. That's not good. Okay, we need to get our flaps out. Let's do it out here so we can listen to it. Let's go flaps 1. Let's actually go, I think we're good to flaps 2, aren't we? Not quite. Need to descend and maintain 3,000. And we're going to go to flaps. Do it. Slam Cannon says V1, the BSS Facebook page is worth a follow. They gave an update on the Tolless BSS pack a couple weeks back. Awesome. I will check that out as soon as I finish this stream. Risty says sorry for the spelling mistakes. I'm fairly tired over here. It's 3:40 a.m. Man, I don't know. You are hardcore, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us. I hope you are enjoying the stream as we get ready to come into the wonderful LaGuardia. It's just entering the frame now. There is 2-2. That's the runway I accidentally plugged in. We're going to land on 1-3. We're going to... Oh, I'm sorry. 1-3 is right here. We're going to land on 2-2. Very rare if you land on 1-3. We're going to come in on runway 2-2. So we're kind of on an extended downwind right now. Hey, I have a name. What's radial in? I get this question all the time. I'm going to have to make a separate video explaining this because it's very important. But essentially what radial in does, when you make a direct function and you select a fix, radial in is your outbound course from a fix that you're selected. So for instance, I selected Yeoman. I got to erase it because I already have it. I selected Yeoman, and what it did is it took my final approach course from Yeoman inbound, it flipped it outbound to 045, and it drew an extended center line. So now I have an extended center line to landing for the ILS. We do this all the time when we are getting vectored for an ILS approach. I love the lights here on the engine nacelle, the leading edge. Man, X-Plane is beautiful. If you guys have some awesome screenshots, post them in the V1 Sim Discord screenshot page, and they will be featured on the next. Every time I start a stream, I put in. I got a link to a folder of all those screenshots, and they post up on the screen, so we can all enjoy them. I'm seeing some really nice ones going in that screenshot folder as well. All right, we're just almost to beam Johan, Cactus 1942, turn right, heading 080. 080 for Cactus 1942. Man, saying that call sign is... Trying to like fly most of this flight from the wing view here. Rizdi says, by the way, you're pronouncing my name right, but if you can't remember, just say Nicholas says that's my real name. All right, man. Tommy Monroe, when you try VATSIM, you have to get the Swift client. It is much better than X Squawk Box, but it is more complicated. So you should watch the tutorial before you screw up the installation like I did. Great. I hope I don't screw it up. We'll have to figure. I'm gonna have to figure it out. We're gonna have to. Everybody else can do it. I can do it. We're gonna figure it out. We need that for our Euro tour. Storehead says, oh, I skipped a bunch of comments. Let me get back. Bill Barrett says, that airway entry trick you showed us doesn't work on the TOLUS. That is correct, Bill Barrett. It does work, but you have to manually calculate your course. So our final approach course is 224. You could manually calculate the outbound by doing what I call the +2 -2. If you add 2 to the first digit, you have to subtract 2 from the second digit. If you subtract 2 from the first digit, you have to add 2 to the second digit. So in this case, you can't have 404. You can't have a heading of 4. There's only 360 degrees in a circle. So we know we must subtract 2. So then we add 2 to the second digit. We come up with 044. And the airplane came up with 045. So essentially the same thing. That's a quick way to flip a radial around. Alright, we're going to turn right. Cactus 1942, turn right, heading 12, correction 130. Man, I should apply to be a VATSIM, or not VATSIM controller, what is it? A pilot edge controller. Cactus 1942, turn right, heading 170. You are 2 miles from Johan. Maintain 3 tail established. Cleared ILS runway 22 approach. Cleared ILS 22 approach, 3 tail established. Cactus 1942. Okay, here we go. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1+2, a Loc Star. We've captured the localizer. We are turning inbound. Alright guys, I'm going to get ready to do this land in air. One more comment and then I'll get to the rest of them as we do the replay. Alex TV, are you a real pilot or flight sim? I'm a real pilot, man. Alex TV. I am an Airbus pilot, man. I got about, well, I don't know how many hours I have. I should probably find out. I've been flying the Airbus about 6 years, man. Yeah, I'm a real Airbus pilot. Storehead says, I dare you to fly the Zebo with no training. Challenge accepted, Storehead. Bet you I'd fly it better than half the guys that fly it. I used to love the BMDG NGX. Alright, we're going into serious mode here. No messing around, guys. I'm going to pop these out for you. Let's make this one a little bit smaller. Make them a little bit smaller.
2,500.
We're at 2,000 feet above field. Well, just about. 180 knots. This is one of those scenarios, guys, where I always say there's always an exception to the rule. I always say 2,000, push for managed. Coming into LaGuardia, I'm going to configure just a little bit earlier. 2,200 feet. Gears coming down. Managed speed. Let's get a look at that landing gear. Oh, that's beautiful. Cactus 1942, you clear to land runway 22. Clear to land 22, Cactus 1942. That nose light goes into the takeoff position. VFE next, -10. Flaps 3. Trying to find a better view. That's probably the best view. VFE next to -10. Flaps full. And we'll do a landing check. I'm going to fly this puppy. Alright. It's on the speed brakes there. Cabin crew advised, auto thrust. We are speed. ECAM memo, landing all green. A landing checklist complete. We're going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot. Oh boy, where's my stick? There it is. Triple chirp. We are Cat 1. Clear to land. We're hand flying. 1,000 feet. Stable.
1,000.
Just a little bit of wind from the left. It's not uncommon to come in here, guys, on 2-2 and have a frickin' crosswind of about 30 knots. We got lucky tonight.
500.
Stable sinking 3.
400.
PLI comes down. Pitch limit indicator.
300. 100 above. Minimum 200.
Or visual with the Pappies now.
100.
Gonna take it down. 3 reds, 1 white.
50,
That's
40.
pretty common
30,
here for this one.
20. Retard. Retard.
Ooh, that was rough, guys. We're down right on the markers. With spoilers. Oh, reverse. Where is it? There it is. Reverse green. Just looking at my reversers. Decel. 70 knots. Manual brakes. Welcome to LaGuardia, guys. That was a hard one, but that's LaGuardia. Here we are, 1,000 feet left remaining. Whew, 428, uncomfortable. That's all right. We got a brake side E-cam. That's pretty standard with a medium brake landing. All right, as we exit the active runway here, let's go ahead and kill the strobes. We can turn off the turn-off light. It was firm, but we were right on the markers, so I'd like to say I'm embarrassed, but I'd be more embarrassed if we ended up on the expressway. You can see, guys, we exited off the runway there. That was medium brakes right on the touchdown zone, and we got just about 1,000 feet remaining. So there's not a lot of room to play with. Go ahead and clear that. Let's do an after landing checklist. Disarm, spoilers, retract. Let's get the APU fired up. I challenge you guys to get the landing plugin that I've got linked in the description. I think it's probably the best one. It gives you a much more accurate G-load, in my opinion, on landing. But also what's good is the height above threshold. So typically, we're looking for a 50-foot crossing. Coming into LaGuardia, you saw that I rode in on 3 reds there. 3 reds, 1 white on the Pappy. That's also pretty common. We crossed the threshold. I think it said 24 feet. So about half as high as normal. And that is partly to do because it's LaGuardia and it's nighttime. You get a little bit of a runway illusion there. You get that feeling that you are higher than normal, so you want to ride it in low. And also probably because I've had about 3 bourbons and it's a late night. So, but hey, we're here safe and sound. We're going to try to do the replay without getting a crash, guys. We're going to go ahead and park it over here in the gates. This is a Mr. X airport. I forgot to start the timer on touchdown, but should be pretty close. We'll give it about another minute here. Alright, we are passing that terminal there. We should be one more over. We're going to take Bravo Juliet to the ramp. We're going to put it in on the end right over here. Brakes are hot, guys. This is a proper indication. I know the TOLUS doesn't give you amber brakes, but that is proper there when they turn amber. Also, don't turn your brake fans on right after landing. You actually make the brakes wear faster. You need to have the brakes heat up to their maximum temperature and then turn on the brake fans. So typically right at the gate is when we go ahead and put the brake fans on. Alright, we're coming into the ramp area here. Let's go ahead and get that taxi light off. yellow electric hydraulic pump. That can come on. And we will secure engine number 2. Let's go now. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Got a little slow there. Oh, we're having issues with our single engine taxi. And make sure you guys give yourself enough momentum when you single engine taxiing. Don't look like me. I totally screwed this up. I really screwed this up. Can I grab the tiller? What is going on here? Can't grab the tiller. Oh boy. Alright, well this is definitely a triple bourbon parking job. Holy smokes, guys. This is kind of funny. This is going to have to go on a highlight reel. This is why pilots don't drink, guys. Brakes are set, thank God. We've got our APU available. Let's go ahead and kill the seatbelt sign. Engine 1 can come on down. And the bleed can come online. Waiting for 10% N1. There it is. Let's go ahead and get the dome light on and get the beacon light off. Get our fuel pumps off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LaGuardia. Whew! I feel like I'm missing a bunch of stuff now. Oh, we got the PTU running. Shut that off. There we go. Welcome to LaGuardia, guys. How about that parking job? Holy smokes. Oh, man. Yeah. Cheers to that. Okay, guys, we are going to attempt this replay situation here. We're going to be very gentle. We're going to go toggle replay mode. Boom. And then we're going to just click it back right here. And then we're going to click it back right here. And then we're just going to play it through. And we'll change the view as we get a little bit closer. We can actually maybe manually set our view to go to the wing instead of using one of my presets. For some reason, when I use my preset view, I would get those crashes. So we're going to go ahead and watch the landing from the wing. Oops, I went past the wing. Might be time for bed. No sounds in Flight Factor, which is unfortunate during the replays. Alright, let's get to some of these comments. Oh boy, I can't wait to read this. Alright. Man, I missed a lot of comments here. Ever flown to MKE, Modena? I used to work U.S. Airways and AAL ops there. Yeah, man. I sure have. Gary says, found your channel through X-Plane1972. Love the content. Awesome, Gary. I'm glad you can be here. X-Plane1972 is an awesome dude. He's another streamer, guys. If you aren't familiar with him, go give him go check out his channel. Go subscribe to him. He's been watching some Airbus professional series videos, and he's done a real good job. He's actually had some really nice landings lately. I watched him. He did one into, I think it was Boston. Man, it was pretty. So shout out to him. We're actually planning on doing a multi-crew here pretty soon. I'd like to do a multi-crew with him. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Check him out. Bill Barrett says, no real frame rate loss with active sky. Couldn't be any easier to use. Great add-on. Can't go wrong. Awesome. I will check it out, Bill Barrett. Risty says, just so you know, Swift is still in beta, so it's very buggy and can disconnect. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Blue Max 717. I need some good mods for JFK. I can only get 30 to 40 FPS. I think that's pretty good, man. I'm running default scenery here. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think my frames are about 60 or so. I try to lock it around 60. Monroe. Oh, let's see. I read that one. Blue Max 717's 1.18 Gs isn't bad. That's pretty legit. You know what? 1.18 G isn't too bad, to be honest with you. But, hey, I'm not going to make excuses for it. Let's go ahead and see if we can change without... Actually, wait. Let's go ahead and pause. Somebody said to do this. We're going to go View, External, Runway. Perfect. All right. Here we come. Yeah, 1.18 G. Hey, man. We're here, right? I'm more worried about my taxiing skills. Storehead says, I wonder if my insurance covers a pop disc from a landing at A320. Well, Storehead, you're gonna have to find out for me. Let me know, because I might have to visit the same doctor. Sometimes it's got to be rough, especially LaGuardia. Ooh, that's right. Boom, there it was. Let's go ahead and pause that and look at it. Man, we touched down, guys, right on the money. It's hard to see. The markers are right there. And we are pretty much right on center line as well. Let's go ahead and watch this roll out. So that was right on center line. Medium brakes and full reverse. Look at this rollout. I don't mind my little swerving there on the runway. We got down to a safe taxi speed to take the second to last high-speed exit. Here's your 1,000-foot remaining. And you can see the alternating red and white lights here. That happens at the last 1,000 feet. And solid red, I believe, is the last... oh, man, I don't know. Last couple hundred feet of solid red. Alternating red and white centerline lights as you approach the last 3,000 feet of runway. We've got our high-vis taxiway turnoff lights here. Let's go ahead, pause. Let's do a little bit of a rewind. That seems to be working tonight. That's good. We'll get another view here. Right on the touchdown zone, right on the markers. We are down. Reversers, spoilers. Don't mind that drift there. We won't look at that. Welcome to LaGuardia. Okay, one last one. Let me get through these comments. We'll put her to bed. Can we watch it from the tower? We sure can. We pilot 1993. When you land an Airbus, do instructors tell you to focus down the runway like they do in a Cessna? Absolutely. And I forgot to even mention that, guys. So, yeah, the best way to get a smooth landing is not do what I did there. You don't want to become fixated on the touchdown zone. Oh, there's a crash. I hit W. So I know what's causing it. It's when I use preset keys. But when you land, you want to be alternating your eye viewpoint from the far end of the runway to the near end of the runway. That will give you your distance, or not your distance, but that'll give you a nice sense of sync rate to get a nice smooth landing. Don't stare at the touchdown zone like I did and plan it. How do you get the threshold announcement? I have the landing speed plugin. Mine doesn't show. Make sure you have the right one. I have it linked in the description. It's slightly different than some of the others. Make sure you have the right one, and it should give you a threshold displacement, or it should give you a height above threshold, and also distance from centerline. What add-on is the cabin sound? That was BSS Sound Pack. Christian Samuel says, cabin sounds where? Yeah, it's this BSS Sound Pack. I do use Track IR version 1. And blames the hard landing on drinking. Italian row. Hey, man, pilots got to have excuses, man. Any good pilot's got a good excuse. Wojtek CYVR, if you can insert the link in description for the landing plugin, please do it. I will do it. If you use Xvision, use the Vivid preset and ASXP. Okay, I use the Immersive preset. I will use a Vivid and ASXP. Give it a shot. Alex TV, should I practice X-Plane with real procedures if I want to apply it? Yes, you should. Does flying manually in X-Plane feel like in real life? It's pretty darn close, man. It's pretty darn close, Alex. And stay tuned. I'm going to have some instructor situation going on with a video series and maybe multi-crewing with you guys and doing some flight training. So stay tuned to the channel. When I got my taxi qual for the 47, my pilot's words of encouragement to keep speed were, you've got to have a pair of balls and act like you're going to put it through the fence. Absolutely right, Blue Max 717. That's funny. What bourbon am I drinking? I am drinking Woodford Reserve. Store hit, I have a phone number right down at the gate. Yep. Third time's the charm. River Visual 1-3, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, yes. So no, we landed 2-2, I believe. Why did you choose professionally with the Airbus? Because it's the. I mean, why did I choose to go with the Airbus? Like in real life, it was just kind of where I wanted to be. I wanted to be based where they had Airbus base, and just kind of ended up that way. As far as X-Plane goes, it's because it's the most, I think, realistic add-on in X-Plane right now. It's the most close to a level D simulator with X-Plane. All right, last couple guys here, and I'm off to bed. It's almost like you do this for a living, landing. Haha. Yeah, almost. 1100 lightning strikes tonight. It's been crazy out there. Risty, amazing stream mate. Lovely to chat with you through the flight. Great parking. I'll be sleeping now. Good night. Good night, Risty. Should I practice procedures and X-Plane if I want to be a pilot because I want to? Yes, you should. Practice, 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 Alex TV. Do it, man. Hopefully when I get some new name. Maybe. We need a taxi rating plug-in. Slam Cannon. That's too funny. Maybe we can get Holger Teutsch. I think it's his landing plug-in. Maybe he can get a taxi rating plug-in. I think I got the V1 Sim parking job award tonight. So, many thanks. Good night, CYVR. We'll see ya. Tommy Monroe. Cabin is turned off. Plug-in. Yep. Volume 50, 100%. That's right. Make sure you adjust it in your settings. All right, guys. I've had a blast tonight. Thanks for sticking around. Sorry that landing wasn't as butter as I wanted it to be, but I hope you enjoyed the flight. I hope you learned something. And make sure to like this video. I'm going to say it because somebody said to say it, because if you forget, I should say it. Like the video. If you like the content, guys, subscribe, and we will be back hopefully later this week with another live stream. So thank you all for all the support and donations. I hope you all have a blessed day wherever you are.